Joined now on Kings of the North by a true Northerner, David Braun, the head coach of the Northwestern Wildcats. I know you have a whole football team and like great players and like your stadium, man, like this. What was it like in year one playing on the lake? And were there any actual football adjustments that you had to make? That anything you learned that you will apply in year two of Northwestern playing on the lake, Phil?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, just an opportunity for our fan base to engage on campus, our students to be truly engaged. It's the right bridge to the new Ryan Field. And there were considerations. I mean, being right on the lake and a unique, structure of the stadium and the wind patterns. The biggest adjustment, that we've made is, we have the most beautiful indoor in the entire country. But during the season, rarely do we practice in it because ultimately we just want to get our quarterbacks and specialists out in the elements as much as we possibly can. And hopefully, this year we need to turn it into a home field advantage.
Was there anything, it's such a unique, intimate setting for major college football. Was there anything about that helped sort of like your fan base and the team grow a little closer, like for the fan base to like get to a different viewpoint and like understand your team a little better? Because it's, there are not a lot of people there. It's kind of like a tight knit thing.
It's intimate. It allows for engagement. And again, I just think it's the right bridge to the new Ryan Field in terms of what we're going to be able to create in terms of that environment. And again, I'm a guy that, so much of my career was at the FCS level. Understand what the Fargo Dome could turn into or the Unidome could turn into with the right rowdy group of people that are ready to support the team. And that's what we have to do this season. We have to give a reason to, make sure that our fans are excited about the home field advantage that we're creating. Opportunity to open up at home in week 2 against Western Illinois, followed by Oregon. And, really charge our fan base to create a home field advantage. And at times it was, small, intimate setting, but the fans are right on top of you and something so unique, especially in those, days in September and early October, and you look out on the lake and there's people sailgating. Where else in big time college football you're seeing that?
Oregon week 3, Big Noon will be there, big time game. It felt like you guys were active, strategic in the portal this offseason. Just, the sport keeps changing. But what did you think of sort of your roster building strategies? Obviously, you're the head coach, but you also have staffers who are, helping and guiding that process. What was that roster building process like for Northwestern this offseason?
No, it was just an honest evaluation as we got to the end of the 2024 season, a frustrating season, a disappointing season. Part of the effort that our team put together, but ultimately it fell far short of expectations in the standard, and had to be honest with ourselves on the things that we needed to address. Brought in 15 transfers. We'll never be a huge transfer operation. We'll never build our foundation off of transfers, but ultimately knew that we needed to improve the roster. And what I'm most proud of in terms of all the work that our staff did throughout that entire process. We added some great football players to our team. And just as importantly, we added some incredible young men that ultimately are humble, they're team-oriented. They understood that they had to come in and earn an opportunity on the field. And the way that those transfers have integrated into this team and elevated not only the level of play on the field, but just the overall culture of our team is something that we're all really excited about.
The flip side of that, I guess, is the retention piece, right? And we all know that's difficult, and I think we understand kind of how this world works now in college football. To keep like a guy like Caleb Tiernan, to keep Anto Saka, who's got a chance to be one of the better defensive linemen in the Big Ten this year, just those guys believing in what you're building there. What did that mean to you to kind of retain players like that?
It's a big deal. At the end of the day, if we're going to be a developmental program, if we're still going to invest in high school recruiting, as guys develop, and Anto Saka and Joe Hyman and Caleb Tiernan, are on the back end of their college football careers, they need to be playing their best college football at Northwestern. And ultimately, we got to be a relationship-driven program. We got to continue to recruit young men that value a Northwestern degree, and then we got to be competitive in the rev share market. And we've been able to do that. And that's, there's a lot of things that I'm proud of that our program has accomplished since December. But one of the things I'm most proud of is our rate of retention of some of our best football players that if they would have gone in the portal would have been highly, highly sought after across the country. And ultimately, guys that knew that they wanted to be at Northwestern, finish their careers at Northwestern, and do something really, really special with this 2025 team.
We think the Big Ten is going to be pretty deep this year.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that's like, oh, wow. And Tony Petitti said it yesterday that this is the strongest and the deepest the Big Ten has ever been, which is awesome, but which is also like, oh, great. Oh, we got 9 bangers on the conference schedule. Like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you see from this conference in terms of not just, the teams at the top, but 1 through 18?
What I see is great leadership from Tony. I mean, Commissioner Petitti has been amazing. I see great coaches. I see institutions that are fully invested in doing this, right in the long term and creating something sustainable. I see some teams at the top end of it that are going to have opportunities to win national championships in a very deep conference. But ultimately, we're not looking for any handouts. I mean, like this is something that invigorates and excites us as a staff and as a program. We're confident in what our football team can achieve in 2025, and we're not going to hold back on setting off goals that we think we can go achieve. We just got to make sure that the way that we operate as a program, the way that we're aggressive in the transfer portal, the way that we develop our team, the way that we hold everyone within the program to a certain standard aligns with the goals that we have for ourselves. But it ultimately, you get into league play, it's a knockout, drag out every single week, and you wouldn't want it any other way. Ultimately, when you earn an opportunity, in the playoff, you're going to be well prepared for what's in front of you.
You guys got a couple big time offensive linemen back. Running back looks great. Some pretty interesting additions at receiver in the transfer portal. Obviously, have a high level quarterback in Preston coming in. What's the next step for this offense? Putting all those pieces together, Zach's scheme taking another step forward.
Yeah, ultimately, when you're right at the offensive line position, you're right at the quarterback position, you're gonna give yourself a chance to play high level offense. So excited about the true competitive depth that exists in our O-line room right now. And truly competitive depth. If you were to ask me who's your starting 5 going to be, it's not a question of gosh who's going to step up. It's a question of who's going to go earn that. I mean, there's some true competition going on. The quarterback play in spring ball just elevated, not only with Preston's play, but Ryan Bowe coming along and just seeing that group continue to mature. The running back room, Joe Hyman's here with us today. Cam Porter coming back, Caleb Komolafe. I mean, some of the challenges for Zach are going to be, how do we find ways to get all these guys enough touches? I mean, Joe Hyman, who's with us today, man, such a versatile athlete, so explosive. We got to continue to find ways to get him the ball. And where I've really challenged Zach, and this is right up his alley, is how can we continue to differentiate ourselves as a program and specifically as an offense to really challenge people in terms of how they're going to defend us. And I think going into year 2, the comfortability of our players on the offense side of the ball, Zach and his staff, really excited about what we saw in spring, what we've seen throughout the summer, and what we'll continue to build through fall camp.
I'll let you out of here with this one, David. This is a competitive conference. It's a large conference. It stretches from ocean to ocean. We've seen Northwestern in recent times make the Big Ten championship game, but there's no more divisions anymore. A lot has changed.
Yeah.
What your fan base? Where does Northwestern fit into this picture right now? What is a we're never going to put a ceiling on your program, but obviously you weren't pleased with how last year went. Where do you want this program to be?
Yeah, you're 100% right. The landscape of 2 different divisions, the Big Ten has changed dramatically. What we won't do is put a ceiling on the expectations that we have for the program. In the world that we're living in terms of transfer portal and the evolution of the landscape, ultimately, you got to be really careful not to just operate in a space of what do we need to do today to win tomorrow. You got to make sure that you have non-negotiables that you're staying true to. And those are the things that we got to make sure that we stand on. And ultimately, we have to outline our goals and ask ourselves individually and collectively as a program, are we operating in a way that aligns with that? Or are we just saying that?
Okay.
But, for me to sit here and tell you that the expectation is to compete and go win Big Ten championships over the next 10 years, I believe that's going to happen. And in competing for that, opportunities to to play in the college football playoff. Ultimately, Ohio State won a national championship this year, and they didn't even play in the Big Ten championship game. I mean, the evolution of the playoff is something that's so excited as you continue to work throughout the season. I believe this program has Big Ten championships in its future. It's going to take daily growth. It's going to take honest evaluation in terms of how we're operating to make sure that we get there, and also an understanding that we're okay with people not talking about us in that light. We embrace that. A chip on our shoulder and understanding that we're the underdog. That's something that Northwestern football has embraced for a long, long time and will continue to embrace.
David Braun, head coach of the Northwestern Wildcats, thank you for joining us on Kings of the North.
Thanks for having me, guys.